here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, and from Auburn Memorial Field in Auburn, Washington, this is Oregon Thunderbolts playoff football. The Thunderbolts won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Jeff Wood has just kicked the ball off, and that one's probably going to go through. Yes, it does, for a touchback. Nice kick by Wood.
And he almost got 3 points on the kick.
That was a great kick. You and I both noticed during practice that he was hitting 60 and possibly even 65-yard field goals in practice.
Well, as we see the flag on east side of the stadium, the wind is blowing to the east here, and so that means that he was going with the wind, and he used all of that wind on that kickoff.
The Jets will have a 1st and 10 at their own 20 as a result of the touchback. The veteran Lance Westendorf gets the start at quarterback, and he sends one receiver to each side, a double backfield. The Thunderbolts in their normal 4-3. There's the snap, and there's the handoff to Eric Franklin. Franklin still working, and gives the ball up to number 12, Derek Pleasant. And Pleasant gets the ball all the way out to about the 27-yard line, 26-yard line. So that's a gain of 6 on 1st down.
Bad luck for the Thunderbolts. They had first of all, they had the quarterback contained. It was a handoff to the I-back. He took the ball, was looking for a pass. Immediately, the Thunderbolts surrounded him. Was being shed at the time, and he got the ball off just at the nick of time, and it was a completed pass for an 8-yard gain.
2nd and 4 now. Westendorf is under. Again, the two wide receiver set. There's the inside handoff to Franklin again. And Franklin gets close to a 1st down, stopped at about the 29. So it will probably be 3rd and 1. And correction, that was actually Deshaun Fauntleroy, one of the numerous ex-Thunderbolts that play for this Jets team.
If you're not happy playing for the Thunderbolts, you go play for another team. That's usually the course of action. Usually what it means is that your talent level has actually gone down a step because the Thunderbolts take the cream of the crop.
And generally the statistics and the records year by year bear that out. 3rd and 1. The long count. There's the play action pass. He's looking left and finds it complete to Alfonso Harris. Harris still breaking tackles, gets inside the 31. Call it the 31 for a Jets 1st down.
I think the outside ref missed that play. It looked like he stepped out about the 40-yard line when he was being spun around, but they didn't see that whatsoever. I guess they were looking at the ball instead of the feet. Still a nice reception. Westendorf had just enough time to get that ball off as containment started breaking down.
And it looked like the Thunderbolts bit a little bit on the play-action pass, something you cannot do, especially for veteran quarterbacks who will take advantage of that.
Well, no, the Thunderbolts are, pressure on the quarterback. That takes a lot of relief off the backside guys. That gives them a little bit more lateral movement. But again, if you don't make the containment there, then it can hurt you.
And the 1st down pass from Westendorf, intended for Derek Pleasant, is overthrown, so it's incomplete, and that'll be 2nd and 10 from the Thunderbolts' 31-yard line. And a little bit of controversy to start off this game here, Greg. There are only 5 guys wearing stripes.
Well, apparently they were short one guy at the zoo, so here we are with 5. But we understand that the 6 reps is supposed to be en route.
Westendorf back to pass on 2nd and 10, throws over the middle and over the head of Alfonso Harris. Incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Although Westendorf, he doesn't know how to take anything off the ball. The receiver's only 10 yards downfield, and he threw it like he was doing a 50-yard fly.
So now the Thunderbolts with a chance to get out of this after the big gain on the pass just a few plays ago. 3rd and 10.
Well, the last time these two teams met, it was a very low-scoring game. The final result was 13-0 Jets, and that was in Portland. But first quarter was scoreless, and actually the Jets scored just at the end of the second quarter. Westendorf trying to get out of containment.
Westendorf gets out of containment and gets out of bounds at about the 21. They'll probably have to measure that one to see if it's a first down. Judging by the mark and where I see the front stake, it looks like he's got it. But again, they'll probably nope, they won't measure. They say it's definitely a first down just inside the 21 of the Thunderbolts. And it looks like Brett Wells is over there saying, "Hey, can you measure that one, please?"
And usually, if you have a good set of refs out there, they will take that call.
And generally, I think what they do is if you're wrong the first couple of times, then when you go up to them subsequently, they're not going to honor your request anymore. But, well, evidently they didn't bring them out anyway. They just said it's already first down. That's what we're going to go with. So here we are, 1st and 10, again, just inside the 21.
The sore spot for the Thunderbolts is in the flat area. They have a slow response into those areas. A little quicker response when I gave them a first down.
So 1st and 10. And a couple of Thunderbolts are offsides, and they kill the play. It didn't look like there was any contact by the defense, but the play is killed anyway. Well, the first guy to jump off was Lamont Caldwell. And then on the other side...
He's dead. The rule is if you have a clean shot to the quarterback,
right,
they just kill the play.
Which is the NFL interpretation, unabated to the quarterback is what they like to call it. So that was their judgment, is that there was an unabated route to the quarterback, so they killed it. 1st and 5 now, just inside the 16-yard line. And there's the give to number 20, Deshaun Fauntleroy, and he gets inside the 5 all the way down to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, and Brett Wells, as he always does, he's not going to let Deshaun into the end zone that easy, so he took his legs out.
However, that brings up a situation where the Thunderbolts are going to need a goal line stand. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 1. Not the way the Thunderbolts really wanted to start out this game.
Well, they're really hurting on defensive end. Neil Clayson is in South Africa now, and he's done for the season. And you're talking about the top tackler for the Thunderbolts, missing from the Thunderbolts.
And there's the give running left. Sheridan May goes through the left side and pretty much untouched all the way into the end zone. Touchdown Jets, 6-0.
Well, he had to use all the field to get untouched. He went in just inside the cone. And if he tried to cut it up, there was 2 Thunderbolts right there to get him, but they couldn't quite get all the way to the far outside. This is probably where I think probably might be the critical mass right here to see if the Thunderbolts can actually disperse some of these extra points.
Jeff Prince is in to kick that extra point out of the hold of Westendorf. So as usual, always a shot at a fake, but not this time. He's going to kick it through, and that is good. So it's 7-0 Jets.
That one would have been blocked by Neil Clayson because they had to reset the ball.
So it's 7-0. There's the whistle. Prince moves up, put his foot into it, and not a very good kick down to the 21. Fumbled and then picked up. Oh. And I believe is that Gary Clemens wearing number 21, or is that somebody else?
No. Number 21, that's Mike London.
Mike London makes the return, and he gets out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So actually, thanks to the, I don't know if I want to call it bad, but thanks to the kick, the Thunderbolts have good field position at their own 38-yard line.
Well, this is the way the Jets were in the last game. Make no doubt about it, the Thunderbolts had great field position all game the last time they played them. They just couldn't quite get it in when they got into the red zone.
And number 13, Jeff Thomas, makes the start at QB for the Bolts. He sends one receiver each way, and there's the handoff to Glenn Vereen. Vereen rushed for 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards in the regular season, but it doesn't look like he gets very much there, if anything. And Mac McInnes was telling me the other day, Greg, that Vereen is the first 1,000-yard rusher that they can remember in this league, even back when it was called something else. And the Bolts were basically the Oregon City Steelheaders.
Yeah, according to the Northwest Football League information manager, I think they had one other 1,000-yard rusher, but that was in a 16-game schedule. In Glenn, we actually only played 9 games. We had 1 forfeit, so we only actually physically played 9 games this year. So that was a tremendous accomplishment.
And I believe it was 1,037 yards in those 9 games. So that's a pretty healthy average. And there's the give to Gary Clemens. He goes left, gets a little room, drives and gets close to a first down. I believe it'll be slightly short, but it'll bring up 3rd down and short.
And there it is, the scat backs. We had 2 great scat backs. Glenn Vereen, of course, a veteran of this league. Gary Clemens, a first-year player out of PSU, who was a 4-year starter at PSU. And make no bones about it, size doesn't mean a hill of beans if you have the moves they have. And
it is close enough for them to measure, and they will. And now that I'm looking at it, it looks like they might have it, Greg. Let's see what happens here.
Very close. It depends on the reach. And if it's short, it's by an inch, because I can see the nose of the ball right on the orange.
And they're saying it's about an inch short. Get out the credit card to see if it makes it. He didn't bring out his credit card, but it's just an inch short of a first down, so it'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 1. Thunderbolts break their huddle, but the officials aren't ready yet.
They're going to remark the ball. They want to, which is really interesting because they're bringing it. This has the wide hash marks, and we play actually more like the pro hash marks, which are actually about 5 yards inside those hash marks. So they move the ball over to where there's no hash marks,
making it even tougher for us to see where exactly it is. But we know it's about an inch short.
And Keith Evans, the train, I have a feeling there might be some locomotion going on here.
I think you're right. He just might get the ball here. It is him, and it is Glenn Vereen in the backfield. Andre Harris at the bottom of your screen as a receiver, and I believe that's Calvin Griggs at the top of your screen. And it's a quarterback sneak by Thomas, and I believe he's got it. And judging by the mark, he does.
His forward motion was at least a yard beyond where they're marked, where he fell, and they're marking it at least that yard.
Yes.
So he's got the first down.
The far side official said, I've got it. This is where he made it to, and it's past the marker. So it's a first down for the Thunderbolts.
Well, that's one thing that Jeff Thomas brings is he's a quarterback that's actually a fullback.
6'3", 240 pounds. You don't see guys that size playing the quarterback position. As a matter of fact, he also plays in some situations when Mike Hatzkamp is the quarterback, he'll play tight end, and on defense, sometimes he's a linebacker.
That's right, he'll play middle linebacker. And actually, that's his natural position from college.
So here's 1st and 10. Thunderbolts will call it their own 49. There's the give to Vereen again, and, well, there's no room for him.
He's going to get about 1 yard out of this whole ordeal. Right now, and that's where the Thunderbolts had a real tough time. When they did the delay, Glenn Vereen did outstanding. When they went straight up, he was having a tough time getting through the middle.
So we'll call it a yard gain, almost to midfield, 2nd and 9. And I've noticed this year that in opposition to years past, the Thunderbolts have made a really big commitment to run the football, which is why Glenn Vereen has 1,000 rushing yards from the regular year. Now a 4 wide receiver set as they go for the run and shoot. Vereen the lone back, Clemens in motion.
And Clemens big surprise open there. In the middle, but Thomas is
running for his life back there.
And he throws the ball. And a great response by Jeff Thomas saves a tremendous loss. I mean, that would have been close to 15-yard loss, and his athleticism and strength shed the defenders so he could get the ball off.
And Gary Clemens almost came up with the catch on that.
Well, Clemens actually was open right in the gap on the seam. He had got right behind the linebackers, and if that ball was off, that was a touchdown.
So 3rd and 9. And we'll see again what the Thunderbolts come out with, whether it's another 4 wide receiver set. Jets coach Kenny Austin was telling me that he was going to start with 4 wide receivers and pretty much run the run and shoot himself. So it's a battle of wills here. Thunderbolts with not a lot of defensive linemen, which is a good thing if you're going to play against a 4 wide receiver offense anyway. And again, it's the 4 wide receiver set. There's the snap and the delay to Vereen, and there's a lot of room for him to run. The 40, the 35, breaks the tackle, gets inside the 30 to the 28. First down, Thunderbolts.
And just like I said earlier, he did outstanding on the delays. And again, the over pursuit on pass rush gives Glenn Vereen a channel to run right through.
And generally, that's one of the 2 plays that you call with an over pursuing pass pressure type defense. You either do the delay or you do the screen, and I'm sure we're probably going to see a couple of screens from the Thunderbolt offense.
The Thunderbolts are not well known for their screens. It's more kind of like get your linemen rolling out there and just pick off anybody you come up to. But again, delays only work if your passing offense is clicking too.
And again, in the 4 wide receiver set, Clemens in motion again, and there is the give to Vereen. Breaks a tackle, gets inside the 20 to the 15, inside the 10, almost to the 5. Another great run by Glenn Vereen. He's going into the line, Greg, and it looks like he's being wrapped up, but then he somehow squirts out of there.
No, what happened in this whole play is that Jeff Thomas and Glenn kind of collided with each other, and immediately the defenders thought Jeff Thomas still had the ball. They hadn't handed it off, and they were surrounding Jeff more than were Glenn, and Glenn just kind of rolled one way, and he was all alone, and he just ran right down the middle of the field.
It almost looked like the belly option.
It was like it was only
And after the Jets' timeout, as they were a little befuddled by the Thunderbolts offense, it's going to be 1st and goal at the 6-yard line for the Thunderbolts. A good response to the Jets' first drive.
Well, so far, this is what the Thunderbolts did the last game. They get down to these inside the red zone, but they never finished it off into the end zone.
And if that first play is any indication, it might be a continuation of the same, as Keith Evans has nowhere to run. So that'll make it 2nd and goal from just inside the 6.
I think right now it'd be a good look would be put Glenn and Clemens in there and split them wide, because I'll tell you what, Gary Clemens is just one heck of a runner on the little fly, little toss out. He had just an unbelievable day when he played the Blue Devils, and it looked almost like rushing, but he was just doing little wing out jobs from the outside, and they're putting him in slot.
That's 3 receivers, 1 back, 1 tight end, and the 1 back is Glenn Vereen. There's the snap. He's back to pass, and there's the blindside rush.
And you can see that one coming. There was no help on the outside.
And it's Dion. Sorry about that, Greg. It was Dion Alexander that came from the blind side and got the sack.
And there was no one there to even obstruct him. It makes no sense to pull your running backs to the opposite side, and he has no backside help. He's totally blind to that side.
And generally, when teams have problem on the line, they will put the tight end on the side of the left tackle, which is the most important position on the line for a right-handed quarterback, because that guy, he protects the blind side of the QB. But it didn't happen on that play. Thomas is sacked. It's all the way back to about the 14. So now 3rd and goal from the 14.
A good play would have been to run a delay in that, just for the fact that they had all that pressure coming in.
And on 3rd down,
Adam Grimes.
To Adam Grimes, and he goes right down the middle for a Thunderbolts touchdown.
Mr. Sure Hands, Adam Grimes, Mr. Slot, All-American, man. He's the guy that you can send down there, and there could be headhunters down there. He's still going to come up with the ball.
And you could see that the defender tried for either the interception or the knockaway, but he couldn't close quick enough. Grimes got it and got it into the end zone. And you might be right, Greg. We may be in for a slugfest.
Well, we'll find out. The last time Jeff had, the grass over there at Barlow wasn't all that great. So, we can't totally blame it on Jeff. And
Jeff Woods extra point kick is no good as he hooks it to the left.
Well, it looked like he got it on top of the ball. He didn't quite get down to the bottom of the ball. There was absolutely no rotation on the ball.
So with 4:40 to go in the first quarter, already some offensive fireworks. Each team has had the ball once. Each team has scored once. It's the Jets 7 and the Thunderbolts 6. And we're back at 7-6 as the Thunderbolts fail to tack on the extra point. And Greg, how many times have we seen it in football where you miss an extra point and that point ends up being the difference of the game? There's the kick all the way down to about the goal line. Finds some room on the left side, gets out to the 26, 27-yard line before he's finally tackled. And it looks like number 49 was in first on that tackle.
It's just amazing how important special teams are and how little teams actually practice special teams. But usually most of the game's outcome depend on special teams.
And that was John King making the stop for the Thunderbolt special team. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Jets. Ball is marked at the 27-yard line.
I would say this is probably the critical series for the Thunderbolts. They're going to try to make a statement, yeah, we can stop you. You may have scored the first time, but we're going to stop you.
And there's the inside give, and not much room, maybe a yard, out to the 28. And that's Deshaun Fauntleroy again.
I guarantee you, every time 20 touches the ball, there's not going to be 2 Thunderbolts there. It's going to be the whole team. They don't really care for players that leave the Thunderbolts, and especially Deshaun, who kind of left thinking that he should have had all the ball carrying time. So he thinks he's number 1 mega superstar. And so the Thunderbolts are going to try to say, well, I guess your loss is not all that big.
2nd and a long 8. 2 back, 2 wide receiver set, and Westendorf takes it on the quarterback draw and gets big yardage, almost all the way out to the 40, still on his feet. Finally, the play is whistled dead, but judging by the far side of official, he almost got to the 40, and if so, that's a 1st down for the Jets.
Well, they weren't going to let Westendorf down. They're going to try to strip the ball. If the quarterback's going to go through there and they can stand him up, they're going to stand him up and try to strip the ball.
The ball is marked just shy of the 40, but we'll call it the 40-yard line of the Jets. 1st and 10. And again, in contrast to the regular season game between these two teams, it looks like the offenses are going to dominate this one.
Right now, either defense really had any sustained length of holding anybody at a part of the field, that's for sure.
You get the feeling that one stop by a defense will determine things. And there's the pass out left. And that's complete to Chris Bailey, who goes down to one knee to make the catch and then is covered by, I believe that was Calvin Griggs. Calvin Griggs playing a defensive back position. And Bailey catches the ball and is down at the 44. So that's a gain of 4.
Well, that's what everybody's been doing all year. They've been doing those little quick ends, and as long as our corners don't play up tighter, they're going to keep chiseling away at that.
And it's London and Griggs playing the corners.
Calvin does move up on this one.
A little bit of a press. We'll see if they back off. Coach Mac McInnes said they would play a lot of man-to-man pass defense. Westendorf back to pass. Again, looking for him, and a nice catch made by Chris Bailey and forced out of bounds at the Thunderbolt 31.
Well, I'll tell you what, Van Velarde, all he had his sights on was about to clock that running back coming out, the receiver coming out, and if he had looked up and saw the ball, I think he had a pick.
Sometimes the safety's a little late to get over.
Oh, he had all the time in the world. He was set up in the right angle, and he came at the right angle for a pick.
And yet another 1st down for the Jets. And again, early on, the offenses are dominating. Now the Jets go with the 2 back, 2 receiver set themselves. And
the offense did move.
But that may not be how it's called. We've seen that before.
60, he did move on the line. That's why the middle linebacker moved up, and the defensive.
However, they're going to call offside.
Encroachment, and boy, I tell you, that's a real bad call. Because no matter what, the defense can flex, the offense cannot move. Defense can do all it wants. The only thing it can't do is intimidate, and what they were doing there was not intimidating. That they're trying to guess the count. They didn't do any major movement. They just got up out of their stance a little bit.
And it looked like Lamont Caldwell was the guy who came over, and he actually touched the offensive lineman this time.
But the reason why he did that is because the offensive lineman did move. That should kill the play and put 5 yards back, but the officials didn't see it that way.
And so it's 1st and 5 for the Jets. And there's that had to be a broken play, Greg, because here's Westendorf going left side on somewhat of a naked bootleg, and he's brought down by Calvin Griggs at the 4-yard line.
There's a penalty, and so there's probably a holding back here.
And you are correct. It is holding, the preliminary indication. And that's Daryl Van Dinter, he's doing the white hat's role, but he's not wearing the white hat.
Well, Irwin, he was in there, number 91. He was in there, and the only reason Westendorf got around that corner is because they had they had the tackle and the guard doing a Heimlich on him.
But it also looked like a broken play, Greg, in that Westendorf went back, and not only did he run into the two running backs, the running backs all ran into each other. It almost looked like a Chinese fire drill.
I don't think so. I think that was a designed play. It just didn't come up as a polished play. I think what it was is to make it look like the two backs are going one side, but I think they collided because it just got too close.
And so the net of all this is that they lose 8 yards because the holding was 2 yards above the original line of scrimmage. So it's 1st and 18 from the 39-yard line. And again, the Thunderbolts jump, but yes, there is a flag this time. So that's probably going to be a free play.
Nothing free about that one, if you got to get all those bumps and bruises.
And that was a give to Thomas Baker, and Baker got practically no gain. So if it is offsides on the Thunderbolts, it'll still be 1st down, but then 1st and 13.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the Thunderbolt, as much movement that the defensive line is making, there must be something being done there on the offensive line, down on the ground level where the refs can't see it. And, they got to start saying, well, the Thunderbolts can't be jumping all day. There must be something tipping them off. And whether the center's waggling the ball or there's a flex of hand on the ground or whatever, or a slight rock off the knuckles.
And guess what? They're waving the flag. They're going to wave off the penalty. Perhaps the little meeting out there was exactly what you were talking about, and they decide to wave off the penalty. So that'll stand as a 1-yard gain, and it'll be 2nd and about 17.
Yeah, you just don't see 3 or 4 Thunderbolts. I mean, when you see one guy doing it, he's trying to guess the count. But I'll tell you what, when you see 3 or 4 doing it consistently, there's got to be something going on down there.
So 2nd down and very long. Westendorf back to pass. Looking, has time. Now the pocket breaks down a little bit, directing traffic, and he will be sacked. He will be sacked. And give half the sack to Lamont Caldwell, and then the other half to number 54.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. Westendorf is too cocky for his own good. He had, as soon as you get to 4, you had an enormous amount of time to throw the ball away. At that point, he's either going to run or throw the ball away. You don't sit there and say, well, they'll hold up for another 3 seconds, because it's not going to happen.
And that is a big 7-yard loss. So now it brings up, just about 3rd and forever here from the 45-yard line of the Thunderbolts. They need to get to the Thunderbolts 21 for a 1st down. And, we'll not have another play because that is the end of the 1st quarter. And after 1 quarter of play, it's the homestanding Puget Sound Jets 7 and the Oregon Thunderbolts 6. And we're back to Auburn Memorial Field. We're about to start the 2nd quarter, and Greg, we already have the same amount of combined points in 1 quarter than we did the whole 4 quarters in the regular season game between these two teams.
Well, that's what we expected down in Portland. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize that way. But this is usually how the games between the Jets and the Thunderbolts usually go. They're going to always be close. The last time that the Thunderbolts played the Jet went 5 overtimes before it was won.
It seemed like 5 overtimes, but it was actually almost 3. And 2 officials have shown up, so it looks like now we will have our 7 officials. And the guy wearing the white hat is Bob Murph. And the near side on the line official, he just showed up too. So now we're up to the full complement of what they wanted to be in the first place, which is 7 officials. And my guess, Greg, is that they had a high school game somewhere and had to do that before they came here and probably got caught up in traffic, and that's why they're late.
Either that or had wrong directions and ended up in Canada.
And here's the 3rd and long, out of the shotgun, Westendorf.
Oh, and he's going down.
And Lamont Caldwell comes up with the sack all the way back to the 42-yard line of the Jets. And, well, they might be able to punt the ball to where the first down marker is if they're lucky. But 4th down and a lot. And the Thunderbolts defense, with a little help from the offense of the Jets, who committed 2 penalties, come up with a couple of stops and a sack, and here we are, 4th and long, and now here's a chance for the Thunderbolt special teams to put the offense in good field position and for the offense to convert and score some more points.
You just always hope that, you know when you play a game, and this is not taking anything from officials, because I know, Andy, you're an official, but you always hope that the refs are always seeing it equally on both sides, and we're human, and we do make mistakes, and sometimes we're always pulling for a team because we like a team, and not intentionally, but it just comes out that way. And it seems like they've covered this game real well. They're really like we were making the comment, what's making the Bolts keep jumping, and they actually took an act of finding out.
And it's going to be Jeff Prince to punt. Gary Clemens is back at about the 10-yard line of the Thunderbolts to receive the punt. Prince gets it away, a high kick.
Gary Clemens back,
and he decides to let it go, which is a good idea. And the ball is first touched at about the 11 or 12-yard line and then goes out of bounds inside the 2. So the Thunderbolts will have 1st and 10 from there.
Well, just as important as this first stands by the Thunderbolts on defense, this is going to be a tremendous importance for the offense. To automatically make a big stand on defense, turn around on offense, and produce some points.
And then another question, should the Thunderbolts drive about 88 yards here, as it is placed on the 12? If they drive 88 yards here for the touchdown, is it too early to go for 2, or you just kick the 1 and take the 6-point lead?
It just all depends on the situation. Most likely, I would think this early in the game they'll kick.
And so with 13 and a half minutes to go until halftime, Thunderbolts have it 1st and 10 at their own 12, single back set. And there's the give to Gary Clemens. Finds some room. Jitterbugs goes left and brought down at the 30-yard line for a Thunderbolt 1st down.
And that's why they give him the name Scatbacks. Because he scattered right out there, and there wasn't too many hands that really got a clean shot at him.
And Derek Glasper closed from behind and made the tackle. Otherwise, Vereen might take that thing all the way. So Vereen having a
Gary
good
Clemens.
Or a correction, yes, it was Clemens. It was Glasper on the tackle as well. So 1st and 10, just short of the 30, but we'll call it the 30.
Well, I think this role tonight, I think Keith Evans needs to take the role of really plugging up anybody, the linebackers and outside pressure coming through. And if he can make that impact, I think our running game will really get a big step.
And now back to the 4 receiver set. There's Clemens going in motion. And there's the give to Vereen. Vereen finds some room up the middle.
Oh, he's
45, midfield, 45-40, 35-30, and out of bounds inside the 25 at about the 22-yard line. A big gain for Glenn Vereen.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, the offensive line is doing an outstanding job at making those cracks so the running backs can get through. That was a 48-yard run by Glenn Vereen, and now you know why he got over 1,000 yards.
And Mac McInnes was telling me the other day that Vereen got most of his yards running in between the tackles, and that was the case again, where all he needed was about 2 feet of daylight, and he was gone.
Well, you want to put the beef out there. I think we have one of the heaviest offensive lines in the league, if not the heaviest offensive line, and they're bound and determined to say they are the best in Northwest Football League.
And it is a huge Thunderbolt offensive line, many of them at 300 pounds or more. And there's the option. It's a keeper by Jeff Thomas.
And I thought Glenn had it.
And Jeff Thomas running the option.
Thomas.
And he keeps it, goes over the right side, gets down to the 10-yard line.
Now that's a new look.
But you're seeing that, every once in a while it's a 12-yard gain for Thomas. First and, well, we're going to call that 1st and 10 because it's actually outside the 10-yard line. So theoretically, the Thunderbolts can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. But the option look, and Thomas just keeps the ball and gets big yardage.
Oh, I talked about that to the coaching staff at the Thunderbolts. It says, with all these quickness in the backfield, option play is just tremendous. And I said, really, you're looking at Jeff. Jeff is just, there's a flag. And
the option pitch to Clemens. And
I bet you it's a face mask. I'm going to take a real gander on this because I don't see anybody out there other than the running back. So I'm going to guess it's a face mask.
And he gets down inside the 10 to about the 6-yard line, but we'll see what the penalty is first.
No, they're going to call it. There must have been a lineman downfield that was holding.
And it must be holding because they are taking 10 yards, taking it 10 yards back. So evidently, yes, there is holding against the Thunderbolts. So we'll replay first down from the 22-yard line of the Puget Sound Jets.
Maybe they're setting up for a pass.
They have to get inside the 1. It looks like if they get about a foot inside the 1, they'll have a 1st and goal. But this close, go ahead and go for the touchdown if you can.
Well, it's still first down. For the Thunderbolts, this is 4-down territory.
And another thing important, try not to get it all at once unless it's there. And they go out of the four receiver set, 3 receivers left, 1 right. Again, Vereen the single back. There goes Clemens in motion again. And Thomas back to pass, throws over the middle for Grimes, and it's tipped and then over the head of Adam Grimes.
He just got it behind Grimes. I think a little farther in front, Grimes would have had a shot at it, but it was just actually off the backside of his ear.
And it did appear that a Jets lineman got a piece of that, which popped the ball up in the air. Perhaps if he gets no piece of it, it goes right to Grimes, and we have a replay of his touchdown catch at the other end of the field last quarter.
I think that's what they were probably looking at. Definitely there is, as soon as you get behind the linebackers here for the Jets, there is an open area right on the seam, and it's been there all game, and we'll see if the Thunderbolts keep attacking that area.
So second, and, well, we're going to call it a lot. We'll call it 2nd and 21 from the 22 of the Jets. Again, the 4 wide receiver look. That's Griggs at the bottom of your screen. Grimes in the slot, Clemens in motion, and Harris on top. And now the option going left as Thomas pitches it to Vereen and almost pitches it behind him, but that's going to be about a 2-yard loss.
And there should be a penalty there for throwing a helmet on the ground. That's a penalty right there. You're not allowed to take your helmet off while you're on the field.
That is actually an NFL interpretation, and I'm not exactly sure if this league uses that. They use mostly high school rules with some exceptions, most of those exceptions being NFL interpretations, but I'm not sure whether that's one of them or not. I haven't heard of that at all, so I don't know.
All the coaching staff, they say it is. So, if they're saying that, apparently it's coming from the league, the office. Because I know that Coach Mac McGinnis, he goes to every league meeting, so if there's a guy that knows what they're going to do in this league, he's the one that knows it.
And now 3rd and 24. Thunderbolts need a lot here.
Well, I think they should be satisfied, try to get about 10, 12 yards and get a field goal.
And right, Thomas over the middle to Grimes, complete, gets inside the 10, down to the 6. But as you were probably just saying, it looks like they're going to set up for a field goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't see Jeff Wood going. There he comes. So Jeff Wood is coming on the field, so we are trying for a field goal. The key ingredient to Jeff Woods is get him into the game real fast.
So the Thunderbolts will attempt to take a 9-7 lead, and now we have a stoppage of play, and the Thunderbolts are going to take a timeout. So we'll take a timeout as well with 9:19 to go until halftime. Jets 7, Bolts 6. Now why did they take that time? And here comes the field goal attempt out of the hold of Van Velarde and the snap of Jason Lang. It's going to be set at about the 14-yard line. That's a 24-yard attempt, and there's Wood's kick, and it looks good.
And it's good.
It is good.
And that's real key for Jeff Wood. He needs to put something positive on there, and it seems like as soon as he puts that positive mark on the board, his leg gets lively.
So the Thunderbolts take the lead, their first one of the game, with 9:14 to go until halftime.
Hey, the positive thing that we do, Tim and I do, so it doesn't matter. Okay, rock and roll.
Damon Dickey and Thomas Baker back again to receive the kickoff from Jeff Wood, and Wood kicks it to about the 3. Where it is Damon Dickey finds some room up the middle, and it's finally
nice play. See that shows
at the
veterans
32-yard
right
line by Van Velarde.
Yeah, Van Velarde, another 10-year veteran, not trying to take him out, wrap his legs or anything. He just says, "Oh, I'll take my shoulder pads and knock your feet out."
And you have to wonder how many people have the gymnastic ability to take that and flip over and still run, but Baker wasn't that time, so it's 1st and 10 at the 30. We'll call it the 32 for the Jets.
Well, the one thing about the Thunderbolts, once you get the first man there to stop, you're going to have lots of support.
And now out of the eye, Westendorf gives it to the first man through, Deshaun Fauntleroy, and not much room for him, probably about a gain of 2.
and again, a host of Thunderbolts around Deshaun.
Steve Rosario makes the stop for the Thunderbolts stop troops. So 2nd and about 8.
And Steve Rosario, he played minor league football in Hawaii. He just walked into camp and probably about the last 3 games of the season, and said, "Do you need someone to play?" And that's really nice to see. He's an outstanding middle linebacker.
And that's probably going to be a false start penalty on the Jets, as number 12, Derek Pleasant, took off all of a sudden, tried to mask it as if though he was going in motion, but he came forward. So that's a false start and a 5-yard penalty against the Jets.
All you have to do is turn your head forward. As soon as you turn your head forward, they're going to get you.
And so 5-yard penalty makes it about 2nd and 13, and the Jets call a timeout. 8:07 to go, second quarter. Bolts 9, Jets 7. And we're back to Auburn Memorial Field. It's 2nd and about 13 for the Jets. And so far, you have to like the Thunderbolt offensive stats. Jeff Thomas, 2 for 4 for 31 yards and a touchdown. And some running statistics as Westendorf again takes it himself. This must be by design, because that's about the 3rd time he's taken it himself up the middle.
Oh, there was no fake. That was just get the ball and run.
And he only gains about a yard, so 3rd and 12. Glenn Vereen, 6 rushes for 91 yards already. And Clemens, 2 rushes for 27.
Yeah, Glenn, that's right on par. Actually, it's ahead of par. He averages about 110 yards a game.
And at this rate, he can have a really, really big game, and the Thunderbolts offense can score a lot of points. And it's Adam Grimes that has the 2 catches from Jeff Thomas for the 31 yards and the touchdown. Clock rolling with 7:20 to go. 3rd and about, we'll call it 11. The 2-back-2 receiver set as Westendorf rolls out to the right. Has some room, gets to the 35 and gets to the 39-yard line.
Oh, and there should be a flag right there because he got up and gave a forearm shiver. That should have been a flag. The one thing, again, the class of the league depends on the officials and how well they patrol the league. And they have to make a statement or players take advantage of that.
And it was Tim Korkiakoski who makes the stop on that play, but it's going to be 2 yards short of the first down, which will force the Jets to punt. And again, this time, without really the aid of a penalty or too much of an aid, the Thunderbolts come up with another stop defensively.
Oh, yeah, outstanding job. They didn't get sold on the quarterback sneak or like they did early in the game where they cleared out the center. Westendorf just kind of walked right through. This time, Westendorf again tried to run outside. I don't know if that's an indication that he has no confidence in his receiving core and his running core, or if it's just to try something out.
as Prince barely gets off his punt.
Clemens is going to get it.
And he gets it at the 10, and he'll run right, gets a block, 15, 20, breaks a tackle, 25, still digging, gets out to the 29-yard line. Good return by Gary Clemens, about a 19-yarder.
Clemens, he only had one white shirt back there to help him, and yet he went fearlessly right at the attackers.
And he got a good block, and I apologize that I don't remember who got the block. I'm sure the coaches will get that on tape, and that'll be an attaboy to whoever that was, but that sprung him for a good return on the punt. So again, now the Thunderbolts have a chance to extend their now 2-point lead with 6 minutes to go until halftime.
Well, the different, what makes a good football team is learning how to take your offense, use a lot of time, score points, and give your defense a lot of rest. And so far, to par, the Thunderbolts have done a marvelous job.
And now a double tight end, double wide receiver set. The inside handoff to Glenn Vereen, and he finds a little bit of room, about a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7.
Well, I had an early report of another important game that's going on, and that was Pierce County Bengals and the Snohomish Vikings. And in the first quarter, it was Pierce County ahead 7-0.
And they were playing that game at Shoreline High School, just north of Seattle. So 7-0 Pierce County over the Snohomish County Vikings.
That's a real important game, because if the Thunderbolts come out ahead here and win this game, and the Bengals win, hey, we play the championship game in Portland.
At Park Rose High School next week. If not, if Snohomish somehow comes out, then the winner of this game will travel there. Here comes the blitz, but Thomas gets away, throws it,
a nice throw.
And it looks like it bounced before it got Calvin Griggs. Calvin disagrees, but it looked like it might have bounced just before it got him. That's too bad, because Thomas got away from the blitz and just couldn't complete the pass to Griggs.
Well, I don't know if he got away from the blitz. It looked like the blitz went right on they went for the running back on that one. They didn't even give a second thought about covering him, and he just kind of curled right off him. And the ball was just a little too low. And I think what's made the officials call it incomplete was it made a good pop on the ground. AstroTurf has a definite sound when the ball hits it.
And you almost got the feeling that Thomas could have just taken that and ran, because it looked like he had some room to at least gain about 5 yards, but decided to go for the bigger gain, but couldn't get it to Griggs.
Well, we only got one quarterback here, okay? So you got one quarterback. Number one, you don't want to waste him. Number two, he played the majority of the year at middle linebacker. His legs are a little dicey as it is already, so you don't want to take any chances.
Out of the shotgun, he gets away from pressure.
Oh, nice catch by Calvin Griggs.
Great catch.
Oh, they're calling it incomplete.
They're going to call it incomplete. I guess Calvin Griggs dropped the ball after he was hit. He must not have had control when he came back down on the ground, because he did have to leap to make the catch, but evidently he could not control it.
It looked like he had control of the ball until he hit the ground, so it must have popped loose when he hit the ground. It was hard for us to see because all the Jets were standing in front of us.
Right in the near sideline, which is the Jets sideline. So 4th down and about 7, and that'll force Jeff Wood to go back and punt.
Now, last time Jeff Wood kicked against the Jets, he had an outstanding punting game. And what I mean by that, it wasn't necessarily the yards. He placed it on the out-of-bounds mark as far as you could get it, and yet not have a return.
And now we're going to have another timeout, this time by the Thunderbolts. So I believe that's 2 timeouts taken by each team. So with 4:39 to go until halftime, it is still the Thunderbolts 9 and the Jets 7.
And we're on. Roll it. You on? Want me to go give you a...
4th and 7. Jeff Wood back to punt.
Key punt here, 4:39. That's not a lot of minutes for the half to close.
Montreux Macon back to receive the kick.
It off. A nice high kick. High, very high kick.
And Macon takes it at the 29-yard line. Jitterbugs goes left side, gets a big block from number 41, and he's still running inside the Thunderbolt 40 to about the 36-yard line. Well, and wow, what a block by number 41, Don Adams of the Jets, that sprung that return.
I'll tell you, I don't know who the first one for the Thunderbolts was there, but if they can get some film clips of Van Velarde then they'll learn how to actually attack on special teams. He does reckless abandonment. He left his feet 5 yards in the air and just absolutely pulverized the ball carrier.
They now spotted at the 35-yard line of the Thunderbolts, so with coming up on 4 minutes to go, the Jets have great field position with a chance to take the lead here.
And the way they're controlling the Jets, if they had them on the other side of the 40, on the Jets 40, I think that we would have ran the clock out.
And there's the pitch and the sweep.
Fauntleroy.
That is Fauntleroy, and it was Steve Rosario who came up with the trip up, and that slowed him down to where Tim Korkeakoski makes the cover, but it is a 2-yard gain. But that should have been about a 5-yard loss.
Well, not necessarily. Steve did an outstanding job. He came from he's a middle linebacker. And a middle linebacker going all the way to the outside, that's an outstanding job, first of all. He got behind the defense. The other thing was he didn't try to take the guy down all by himself. What he did was he disabled the motor of the running back so the support crew could finish him off.
2nd and 8. And there's the pitch again going right. Finding some room, and then finally going up the middle inside the 30 to the 27-yard line is Sheridan May. And he is stopped short of a first down a couple of yards, so it'll bring up a 3rd and short situation.
Well, right now the Thunderbolts, they need to get lower. They got, there is leadership out there. There are the veterans out there showing them how to tackle, and these newer players are not making the tackles the right way. They're hitting them high, and good fullbacks and tailbacks are not going to go down that easy.
And the Jets have taken their 3rd and last time out of the first half with 2:43 to go until halftime. The score is still 9-7 Thunderbolts. Well, I guess. And we're back. It's 3rd and 2. The Jets have just burned their last time out of the first half. They have none. They operate out of the eye. Westendorf gets it. And a little roll right, and there's a wide open receiver. That would be number 12 who takes it in. And it's called a touchdown. Derek Pleasant gets the reception. He was wide open over the middle and breaks the plane of the end zone for the TD as the Jets retake the lead.
Well, if you give Westendorf all that time in the day, what can you expect? He's going to score on you.
And a little bit of misdirection had the Thunderbolts taking the bite inside, and Pleasant was just basically uncovered, and he gets into the end zone.
We're absolutely having really not a whole lot of pressure from our defensive ends today. Like I said, Neil Clayson was a real key instrument. You got to have someone in there to flush the quarterback out. Right now, a few series, the Thunderbolts did an adequate job of it, but on this series, they actually had no pressure on the quarterback.
And Jeff Prince with the extra point, which is good. And that extends the Jet lead to 14-9. After a couple of stops, the Thunderbolt defense fails to stop the Jets from scoring, but now with 2:29 to go, the Thunderbolts have a chance to score themselves. However, they only have one timeout themselves, plus the 2-minute warning, which is coming up in about a half a minute.
Alonzo Harding's the up man.
We're back, and with 2:29 to go, the Thunderbolts will get the ball back. It's Clemens and Harris back to receive the kick of Jeff Prince. Short kick over the middle, over the head of Alonzo Harding, bounce, takes a high bounce, and Harris gets it at about the 10, gets past the 20, jitterbugs, gets about to about the 24-yard line, and that's where the Thunderbolts will begin operation. Now with 2:23 to go.
Boy, that can be dangerous, turning your back on those defenders coming down there like Harris did, because you just can feel that helmet creasing in the middle of your back.
And now in stark contrast to the regular season game between these two teams, we already have 23 combined points, and we're not even at a halftime yet. And the Thunderbolts have a chance to add to that and also recapture the lead with a TD.
Well, we're going to, 2:05, that means, they're going to let it go down.
They're going to let it go down to the 2-minute warning, and we'll take a timeout as well. 2 minutes to go, first half. Puget Sound Jets 14, Oregon Thunderbolts 9. 2-minute warning timeout is over. The Thunderbolts have it 1st and 10, just inside their own 24-yard line. A 3 wide receiver right look. Thomas back to pass. Has a little bit of time, throws over the middle, and overthrows Andre Harris. It didn't look like there were any open Thunderbolt receivers on that play, so it was a good thing it was an incomplete pass. There wasn't a lot of resistance should the Jets have intercepted that pass, so 2nd and 10. And again, the Bolts trying to take the lead back. A lead which they held for quite a while. And in the regular season game between these two teams, of course, they were shut out 13-0, so they never led. And 9 points already from the Thunderbolt offense with a couple of minutes to go in the first half has to be a good sign as compared to the last game.
Well, with under 2 minutes, you know they're going to go to some kind of passing offense.
As Thomas back to pass, rolls right, throwing and almost intercepted by Damon Dickey as he was throwing for Calvin Griggs. In and out of the hands of Dickey, so now 3rd and 10.
Very late throw. At that point, it's almost like throw it away, or you're going to have to put it down the field where the defender can't get to it. You don't want to press these, because that could mean a quick, easy 6 points.
And it appears that unlike the other game between these two teams, where it seemed like the quarterbacks were running for their lives a lot, for the most part, Jeff Thomas has had time to throw, just maybe not as many open receivers as he'd like to see, but at least enough to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I think they're kind of looking at special patterns. I don't think they're looking at Jeff's really not seeing all the patterns, and of course he hasn't had a whole lot of workout this year at quarterback.
And the 1 back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set as they throw long for Griggs, who makes the reception and is forced out of bounds at about the 49-yard line of the Jets. Good fly pattern run by Griggs and a nice throw by Thomas to get it to him there.
That is Calvin Griggs' specialty right there, and usually you see that either the first or second play of a game. That's usually where the Thunderbolts always have started their offense. Last year with Haskamp was a fly to Griggs, but nice timing pattern, well dispersed and well laid ball by Jeff Thomas that just put him right on the go.
And Damon Dickey, a little bit burned after he almost got that interception 2 plays ago, gets burned by Griggs this time, and it's a big gain for the Thunderbolts. So 1st and 10, just inside midfield. There's the delay to Clemens, but he gets dropped for a loss. Call that about 3, so 2nd and 13 now with the clock running. Thunderbolts have only 1 timeout left themselves. I don't think they'll elect to use it here, but they might think about hurrying up here.
Yeah, they're not exactly getting a little fancy about getting up to the line real quick. Jason Lang just says, "What the heck are you guys doing? We get up to the line and let's get moving the ball."
And that's the veteran telling all the young kids, hey, this is how we play this game. This is Thunderbolt football. In the 2-minute drill, we want to run the 2-minute drill, which is the hurry-up offense. Now Thomas out of the shotgun. Here comes some pressure. Throws over the middle, and it's intercepted.
There it is.
Intercepted by Derek Law. Brings it back 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and a Puget Sound Jets touchdown. Derek Law, 55-yard interception return for a touchdown, and it's 20-9 Jets.
That's what you don't want to do, a mistake like that. A simple mistake. Grimes was open. The ball was underthrown to his backside. Easy pick. If it was to Grimes' hand side, he had another reception, but that wasn't the case. And he had a nice clear out down the sidelines and a nice block pattern by his teammates. Let him carry him all the way into the end zone.
And Prince in again for his 3rd extra point try. He's 2 for 2 so far. This to give the Jets a 21-9 lead with 51 seconds to go before halftime. And the snap is fumbled, and it's recovered by the Thunderbolts. So, hey, there's a gift. They give that point that the Thunderbolts couldn't get after their first down. They get it right back. So it's now 20-9.
Well, that kind of makes it interesting because the Thunderbolts could actually score 2 touchdowns without any extra points and still win this game.
Right, being down by 11 points. Yes, being down by 11 points, 14 points puts you up by 3. So Your special teams all the way around, and the kicking team is considered part of the special teams. Special teams very, very important, but now that each team has blown one extra point, now it's kind of back even again. It's 1-1 as far as mixed extra points or points failed, if you will.
Well, that touchdown doesn't, that 6 points doesn't really become that important right at this moment. It really doesn't. If the Thunderbolts can hold them and come back with something.
Prince's kick is short to Gary Clemens at the 19. Goes right and then falls down and is covered.
He tried to come back instead of going inside, and he took himself out of the play on that one.
And Rick Bankson of the Jets makes the cover, and it's to about the 31, maybe we'll call it the 32-yard line. So now with 44 seconds to go, the Thunderbolts will try and get, some lightning, some of their namesake, a quick strike on offense, perhaps a touchdown to get back the one that they just gave up.
Well, I really honestly, it's going to be a tough decision what to do. Put the ball in the air. We've just got burnt putting the ball in the air for a touchdown that has put us down by 11 points. What do? Do you sit on it and wait for the second half? We get the ball first. So
very good point as the Thunderbolts come up to the line.
I really don't know what is going to happen. I mean, for the Thunderbolts, 40 seconds is an eternity. But, it's a different scenario, a different team.
Single back, Grimes in motion. Thomas back to pass, and there's the delay to Clemens, and he's got room. 40, 45, and he's tripped up at about the 47-yard line by number 24, Montreux Macon, but it is good enough for a Thunderbolt first down. And again, the delay play was there, wide open room in the middle for the Thunderbolts, and the Thunderbolts are forced to take their last timeout, and now with 23 seconds to go, they have the ball close to midfield.
Well, I tell you what, that play, there's a host of things you can do with the type of pursuit the Jets put on. First of all, they just love sending everybody and their uncle in after.
Get through, and we're going to get big yardage because there's nobody plugging up the middle. He's coming on the run blitz or the pass blitz or whatever blitz they have going at the time, and the Thunderbolts are exploiting that for big yardage. So first and 10 at their own 47.
They're trying to get all the pressure to go to the outside, which gives that slot up the middle, and so far the Jets have kind of done that.
Thomas back to pass, gets pressured, flat pass to Clemens, but it doesn't look like he has a lot of room to run, and he takes a big loss all the way back to the Thunderbolt 40. Ouch.
And then not only that, that's going to run the clock out, because if they get set up, they might get one play in. If
5,
gets
4,
out of the way.
3, they got to get this thing off, and they ground the ball
with
to see if they can. And there is 1 second left on the clock. They ground the ball, so that'll be third and a long ways to go. And we got to be thinking Hail Mary, full of grace here.
They better throw it to the end zone, because if they throw it anywhere else, man, you're just playing Russian roulette, in the football nature.
And we'll see if the Jets respond in kind by putting extra defensive backs, and it looks like they have. It looks like they're going to have 4 rushers and 7 defensive backs to try and stop this Hail Mary pass that we're expecting. 1 second to go, and the Thunderbolts are 60 yards away from a possible touchdown. Third down, but that doesn't matter. It's basically going to be 1 penalty-free play, and the half will end. At the bottom of your screen is Andre Harris. Calvin Griggs at the top. In the slot, Adam Grimes. Clemens now the single back behind Thomas, who looks to be, it looked as though he was going to be in the shotgun, but now he's going to get under center. So Clemens moves over into the double slot. 3 wide receivers left. Thomas back to pass, and he tries to throw a pass to Clemens, and it's tipped by the Jets defensive lineman. Doesn't even come close to getting him.
Well, actually, you know what that was supposed to be? A flea flicker.
That was supposed to be a flea flicker, but somehow it didn't turn out that way.
Well, the defenders closed in on the lane that Staubach made that really famous. Where the running back looked like he's going up the block. And he go through the hole. Well, the defenders usually leave a little lane there, where the guy goes through.
And there was no lane.
There was no lane.
All right, so we're done with the first half. And after 1 half of play here at Auburn Memorial Stadium, it's the Puget Sound Jets 20 and the Oregon Thunderbolts 9. again, we're about to start the second half as the Thunderbolts deferred when they won the toss before the first half. They will receive this time, and they will go towards the clock. The kick is a little bit of a runner to Gary Clemens. Reverses field, goes to the left, has room, 40, 45, 50, still eluding tackles inside the 45 of the Jets, down to about the 43.
Well, that's a pick-me-up for the Thunderbolts to start off immediately in Jets territory.
That was a very good kickoff return by Clemens. He went right, saw there was nothing there, but saw nothing but real estate to the left side, and a big, big return.
Well, quick backs have quick feet, but Gary Clemens knows how to run hard in a direction and seems to be able to cut back the other direction without losing a step.
And so a good start and a little bit of momentum going the way of the Oregon Thunderbolts to start the second half.
It's good to see Glenn Vereen back in the backfield.
With Keith Evans as the blocking back. Again, he gets it, but he's dropped for a loss. And that's probably back to the 45 for a 3-yard loss. 2nd and 13.
Well, there was some tremendous penetration by the Jets. It looked like they loaded that area. They must be seeing something in the backfield that's tipping them off, letting them know which way the running back's running.
And we have a score from Shoreline Stadium just north of Seattle. At halftime, it's the Snohomish County Vikings 21 and the Pierce County Bengals 13.
Well, another close game, and sure to course, I don't think the Bengals are going to go down easy.
So 2nd and 13, again, the 2-receiver, 2-back set. And there's the pitch to Vereen, running right, has a little bit of room, 45-40, gets inside the 42, about the 38. It'll bring up about a 3rd and 7, so a 3rd and long, and here's where they're going to test the mettle of the Thunderbolt offense to see if they can convert this 3rd down and keep the drive alive.
A 6-yard pickup by Glenn after that 4-yard loss right off the bat, so he made up the distance, gained a couple yards in the positive direction. And for the Thunderbolts, usually the requirement is once you pass the 50, you don't punt. and that's a standard case with the Thunderbolts.
And at this point, Jeff Thomas has not went off the field. As a matter of fact, Clemens comes on, so they will, in fact, go for it on 4th and 5 from the 37 of the Jets. So this could be a big play here, Greg.
Well, the option play worked good for the first couple of plays because they hadn't seen that out of the Thunderbolts. And, of course, Jeff Thomas doesn't look like an option quarterback.
And with that run, Glenn Vereen passes 100 yards. The Bolts need 5 here. Run and shoot set, and there's the delay to Vereen. It's a place which would usually work, but this time he is stopped short of the 1st down.
Well, he wasn't tackled. He just kind of lost his feet as he was skirting by a defender. The defender really didn't hit him. I think he kind of pretty much knocked himself down.
And so a big break for the Jets as the Thunderbolts go for it on 4th down and fail. So, and also good field position for the Jets, just outside their own 35-yard line. And now the Thunderbolt defense must step up.
Really, you think about it. If they did punt it and went in the end zone, that's only a 15-yard difference. So, going on it wasn't that bad of a play.
And out of the shotgun, and that's Westendorf. He'll throw right, he'll throw short, and in and out of the hands of Sheridan May.
Well, that receiver he turned the wrong way. he turned back ways towards the quarterback instead of turning front ways to receive the ball, which had completely stopped his momentum, and that's why he couldn't hold on to the ball.
And now they're going with the no huddle out of their 4 wide receiver offense to try and catch the Thunderbolts off guard and see if they can't make any defensive substitutions. And again, out of the shotgun, Westendorf back. Looking, throws over the middle. It is complete. Complete to Chris Bailey. And Bailey gets inside the Thunderbolts 40 to about the 39. Puget Sound Jets 1st down.
Well, that's a crossing pattern. And I'm not sure exactly where the defender went on that one because as soon as they crossed, he became wide open.
And you see the effect of the no-huddle run-and-shoot offense right here as the Thunderbolts can't make any defensive substitutions. Westendorf bobbles the snap out of the shotgun, throws over the middle, and again complete to Bailey inside the 30, almost to the 25.
And
we'll call it the 26. We do have a flag on the play, and it appears that it might be coming from that umpire position, and we usually know what that means.
That's holding, but
it just may have come from the umpire. Yes. It's defensive holding, and I'm sure that the Jets will refuse that because they got a first down with more yardage. In the Northwest Football League, defensive holding is the same thing in the NFL, which is 5 yards and an automatic first down. However, they got more yardage and a first down on the play, so why take the penalty? They'll take the gain.
A first down's a first down. Right now, the Thunderbolt defense is really having, we were talking about how soft the Jets were at the behind the linebackers. it seems right now, it looks like right in front of the linebackers, the Thunderbolts are having some problems.
And just as the Thunderbolts exploited the middle of the pass defense of the Jets in the first half, the Jets are returning the favor, doing the same thing. So it'll be 1st and 10. Call it the Thunderbolt 26. It's 20-9. The Puget Sound Jets lead the Thunderbolts. 11:35 and counting to go, third quarter. Westendorf gets out of trouble and pitches it. And that is number 20, Deshaun Fauntleroy, but he doesn't get very much. Maybe a couple, maybe 3.
I think everybody's just following Deshaun. They're just waiting for him to get the ball so they can hit him. But there was absolutely nothing going for him, and Deshaun went on the wide out, and that was a pitch. That's the same play that, except it was a pass play to Deshaun in the first game that he came around the end and scored.
And there's the give again to Fauntleroy, who gets close to the Thunderbolt 21. But he stopped well short of a first down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 6.
Deshaun's still the same type of running back. He gets into the line and he stops his feet. That's death to a running back. You never stop your feet once you hit that line. If anything, you're pumping those legs harder.
And now underneath center, but still with the run and shoot offense with the single setback. Westendorf calling the signals. And there's the fake as he rolls left, flushed out of the pocket, and knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line by Andre Harris.
And he's short.
And actually, he was knocked out of bounds at the 19-yard line, but that is still 3 yards short of a first down. So now we'll see if Jeff Prince comes out for a possible field goal attempt or if the Jets go for it.
Big decision. We'll find out.
And Prince does, in fact, trot out on the field, so they will try the field goal.
Well, you got to make a stand. Now's the time for the Thunderbolts. 3 points doesn't end the game, but it sure does make the situation a whole lot harder.
And they will spot it. Westendorf will on the hold at the 26-yard line. That means a 36-yard attempt from Jeff Prince.
Watch the fake.
And we'll see if the fake is forthcoming. There's the snap. There's the kick, and it looks like he might have.
No good.
Yes, he hooked it to the left.
It looked like it was coming to the near side. It didn't. It looked like it was sliding to the near side, and it did appear to just be outside the post.
So I believe, Greg, that is a missed field goal attempt and a missed extra point attempt for both teams.
That's right.
And the other thing you were talking about, Greg, if he does make that field goal, the game is not over because that only puts them 2 touchdowns ahead.
But it's those extra points that loom.
And so with the 11-point deficit, the Thunderbolts will take over at the 20-yard line.
Well, it's also a statement. The offense went down, really didn't generate a whole lot after a great field position. So the defense went out there and made a statement. Let's see if the offense can follow in suit.
3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set. Clemens in the backfield. Thomas on the delay to Clemens, and Clemens runs left, and he doesn't get very much, if anything. That's probably a loss of about 2 yards. And it seems to me, Greg, that every time they test the left side or the defensive right side of the Jets, nothing happens, but when they go right, for some reason, there are plenty of holes to pick.
It seems to be a very weak source point for the Thunderbolts right now. It seemed like it started developing in the second quarter and has carried over here into the third quarter.
So for one of the very few times tonight, the delay doesn't actually work. It goes down as a 2-yard loss, so 2nd and 12. Harris at the bottom of your screen, Griggs up on top, and it's a 4-receiver set. Grimes in the slot. Clemens also out there. He goes in motion behind Vereen. The give is to Vereen. Finds some room past the 20 out to about the 23. And that sets up yet another 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 7.
Well, that's really tough for Glenn because he's doing that all on his own. He has no lead back. He's just going through a crack in the offensive line, and it's all on his own. Once he gets through that crack, there is nobody there to help him other than his own legs.
And that may be because when you're behind, you have to do a lot of single back sets. When you're ahead or tied, you can run out of the eye, or you can run with the escort, with the fullback. But when you're behind, you pretty much have to go to passing sets and try and get a lot of yards quick.
Well, this is, I think, a pretty important series. Time's running out with just about 8.5 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Time's running out, and they're looking for some...
And Thomas tries a pass left side for Calvin Griggs, and he is met. Incomplete pass. He is met by number 15, Stacy Edwards. So the incompletion brings up 4th and 7, and the Thunderbolts are forced to punt.
The pattern was there. The ball was behind the receiver. If that was in front, that would have been a reception right there. Griggs did have a step there. And
it also appeared that he had well more than enough yardage for a first down. So Wood back to punt. And back to receive. Montreux Macon, he stands at the Jets 40. And it's a fake to Van Velarde. Velarde looking to throw. Throws right side to number 4.
And a nice catch and a nice hit. And
by Rod Nightingale.
Rod is seeing bells, whistles, and a few other things because he was just absolutely nailed, and he's hurting. But held on to the ball for a first down.
All the way out to the Thunderbolt 43, so a little razzle-dazzle, a fake punt. A very bold call that deep in your own territory to go for the fake punt. Nightingale makes the nice catch, but takes a crunching hit. And I think we may have to take an injury timeout here because Rod may not get up. We're back. What a bold move by the Oregon Thunderbolts to go for it. Fake punt on fourth down deep in their own territory. It works. Rod Nightingale makes the big catch, but holds onto the ball after the crunching hit by the Jet defender. So it's 1st and 10, just outside the 42 of the Thunderbolts. Clemens in motion. Again, the 4 wide receiver set. The give to Vereen. Vereen tests up the middle, gets past midfield, inside the Jets territory to 48, and that might be close to a first down.
Glenn didn't go down on that one. Glenn took his helmet and said, hey, nothing's easy on this one. I'm going straight forward. He took his helmet and knocked that defender off for another 2 yards.
And again, it appears that the soft parts of the Jet defensive line are up the middle and to the right side. It seems like every time the Thunderbolts have tried to go left or the right defensive side of the Jets, they've gotten nowhere. But up the middle and to the right side, it's always been there.
Well, I think on the right side, what they should do is do a swing out there. I think that's the area that's susceptible right now, is the far side of the field for the Thunderbolts. Right where Calvin Griggs is standing, once he clears it out, look, there is nobody there. They're all packed over on this side. So a swing out would be open.
And in the play action, Jeff Thomas goes left, intended for Calvin Griggs, but incomplete, and the official signals that ball was not catchable, so there will be no pass interference.
Yeah, that was close to face masking on that play because the defender, I don't think he even looked back on that. It's hard for us to see really where his helmet was tilted from that far side, but he had his hand up in front of Griggs. So, if he just makes kind of subtle change, head change towards the ball, they won't flag it.
And what you saw there is the old Oakland Raider philosophy on 2nd and 1. You might as well go long because, hey, you believe that you can get that 1 yard you need on 3rd down and 4th down if you need to. So that's exactly what they do, and they nearly get a catch out of it.
Well, it was out of context for their game plan either. All night long they've been pretty much running it 1st and 2nd down anyways. So, they're seeing if they can catch them napping, but I think a swing out would have worked out great there.
And Jeff Thomas on the quarterback sneak appears to have enough yardage for the first down. A good 2 or 3 yard gain, good push by the middle of the Thunderbolts offensive line, gets the first down.
Again, the Thunderbolts making, And this is not unusual for the Thunderbolts. They'll take a series and look absolutely stinky on it, and then they'll come to the next series and you'll say, is this the same team?
Sort of Jekyll and Hyde football.
Yeah. But for the most part, they've done an outstanding job. One sore spot, the interception that was ran for a touchdown late in the second quarter, that has widened the margin. Other than that, it's been a real well-played game.
And not too many penalties, something that we're used to seeing with the Thunderbolts. So showing a little more discipline. There's the give to Clemens, who runs the right side. He gets inside the Jets 40 to about the 38. And again, going up the middle, or the left side of the Jets defense appears to be what the doctor ordered, the tonic to get the ball down the field. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's where most of the plays go from now on.
Well,
Greg.
I tell you what, that was a cheater counter. It's not a true counter, but in the essence, it was. They flowed everything to their left, and Clemens came back on, which was strange. He came back on the inside, so he was in between the quarterback and the line, and it was pretty tight quarters there, and he was still able to wiggle through and make a nice gain.
So second, and we'll call it 3. There's the pitch to Vereen, who goes left, and he actually does find some room, gets inside the 35, down to the 32 of the Jets, but that is more than enough for a Thunderbolts first down.
Well, that's what I was telling you, that on the outside, on the left, there is ample area, whether it's pass or run. It's when they try to run inside the tackle. That seems to be the strong side for the Jets.
So first and 10, about the Jets 32. Thunderbolts moving the ball. And Adam Grimes trying to figure out whether he's supposed to be out there or not. He stays out there, so he must be. He's at the top of your screen. Andre Harris at the bottom. 2-back set with Evans, and Evans tries to clear the way for Vereen. Or was that Clemens? But no matter who it was,
that was Glenn.
No matter who it was, there wasn't anything there. They didn't gate anything.
I don't understand. That set, I really haven't understood that one all year. There must be some kind of philosophy in that, but they're running. They run the running back. Vereen's getting the ball, and that slot man, it absolutely is not in the play. I mean, he's not there to block or anything. He's just there.
And perhaps maybe a play-action pass or two is in order here now that they've got the Jets thinking about the inside runs by Vereen and Clemens. It might be a good time to do a play-action pass. They're going to be in the eye here with Evans in front of Clemens. Harris at the bottom of your screen, Grimes at the top, and there's the give to Clemens, but he tests the right side and nothing there either. In fact, they may have even lost a yard, and now it's 3rd and long, about 3rd and 12.
Well, I think right now, to me, watching Clemens is an outstanding back on the swing. You got to give Clemens a little bit of room. He's they're both outstanding runners, but Glenn's a whole, he has 8 to 10 years of experience under his belt at this style of play. So he already knows what he has to do to get through it. Clemens hasn't got his legs built up to that same stamina level that he needs to drive through, and Glenn has been driving through players, and as soon as they get to Clemens, if he doesn't have enough room, he gets taken down.
To use an old sports axiom, nothing replaces experience. And this time they try the draw again, but this time it looked like Vereen was looking at a team picture of the Jets defense. Number 91 of the Jets comes up with the football. That's Mike Bailey, but I don't think it was a fumble. It's just a big loss.
They weren't sold out on that play whatsoever. In fact, everybody went to Clemens. And I think that one thing that Glenn does an outstanding job on is that he's looking up like he's going to block someone, where Gary was looking for the ball the whole time, and I think that just keyed the rushers right to him.
And what you were alluding to before about how they get past midfield and they're going to go for it, well, that happens again here, it appears, as Jeff Thomas hasn't left the field. They are going to go for it on 4th and about 17 from the 40-yard line of the Jets. This time the run-and-shoot set. Clemens is the single back.
Well, if it's unsuccessful, it's only a 20-yard difference.
And Thomas back to pass, throws over the middle, but overthrows Andre Harris. So what started out to be a promising Thunderbolts drive stalls at the 40-yard line of the Jets, and the Jets will take over on downs.
And Harris was wide open. Harris was 10 yards behind the defender. and that ball was flat. You just don't, I think on the fly, if he had more angle, that would have been a good pass, but he didn't really. That's almost straight at the receiver. You got to put a little arc on it, allow the receiver a chance to get to the ball, and Harris didn't have a chance at it.
And with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the third quarter, now it falls to the Thunderbolt defense to stop them again. And now the Jets come out again with the run and shoot set. Westendorf out of the shotgun, throws short right to Sheridan May.
Little or no gain.
And May is finally forced out of bounds at about the 41 or 42. We'll say 41-yard line. Very minimal game. We'll call it 1. 2nd and 9. And again, the hurry-up offense out of the run and shoot to try and make sure that the Thunderbolts can't make any defensive substitutions and perhaps make them tired.
Well, I think they're trying to just catch.
And there's Westendorf, goes right up the middle on the quarterback scramble, slides it about midfield, and we'll see where they mark that. It looks like it's enough for a first down.
Westendorf is not really, make no means, he's not really, to me, he's not a classy person in the Northwest Football League. And talent. There's
an interception by Calvin Griggs as Westendorf was trying to hit his receiver.
That's what you call about being a little over cocky.
Michael Brown near the Jets sideline, and Calvin Griggs makes the nice interception, and the Thunderbolts get the ball back. And now this would be a great time to even up the table as far as scoring a touchdown and making it 7-7 on points off turnovers. 43-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Thunderbolts.
Well, there you go. Westendorf trying to thinking that he can just do anything and everything, and that's his trademark. He can help you and he can kill you.
And it looked like Calvin just read that play all the way, followed Westendorf's eyes, knew exactly where he was going to throw it, and even after he was hit, he still held onto the ball and came up with the interception. And now the Thunderbolts come back with their own run and shoot set. Vereen in the backfield, there's the play action pass, throwing right, Adam Grimes wide open, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Thunderbolts! Adam Grimes with his 2nd touchdown reception of the game. This one covered about, if I had to guess, 57 yards, but he was wide open on the right side.
Well, that was almost the same set that he missed Andre Harris on, except this time he took a little off the ball, if you notice that.
And he was absolutely wide open, and then it became a foot race, and he outran the Jets defenders in there. Now, here's the big question. Do the Thunderbolts go for 2, hoping to make it and get within 3, or do they kick it? And I don't see Jeff Woods, so perhaps they're going to do it.
I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing, because
they got about 15 or 16 players on the field right now.
Yeah.
They're not exactly sure, but I don't see Jeff Woods, so I'm thinking they're going to go for 2 here.
Well, right now I think they got they're going to call a timeout. They have to, or they're going to lose it.
They will take a timeout to talk about this. This is pretty important. 57 seconds to go in the third quarter. Jets 20, Bolts 15. Oh man. This has been an exciting game, actually.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. It's more at least he got a touchdown on it.
And after the Thunderbolts timeout, they are indeed going to go for 2. Again, the 4 wide receiver set with 3 to the right.
Doesn't it look like a light burnout on that site?
Well, it looks like there's quite a few shadows on this field here. And there's the blitz. Thomas throws it, and
Vereen's got it. He's going to get it.
And he gets the 2-point conversion.
That's good.
And the Bolts bring it down to a 3-point deficit. Jeff Thomas had to elude the rush. He was going down as he threw the ball. He is getting up very, very slowly with help from his teammates, but he got the ball to Glenn Vereen, and Vereen made it to the end zone for the 2-pointer. 20-17 Jets now.
Well, he threw that while he was being wrapped up. But again, another veteran, and they also missed that field goal. And now it's only 3 points. So technically, to make this go into overtime or extend the game, all they need is a field goal.
And Wood lines up on the kickoff. And it looks like they're in the dark spot of the field, one of the many.
There's a bank of lights out.
There must be, because it's quite dark down there. But I believe that one's taken by Thomas Baker, and he tests the left side, gets out to the 25-yard line, and he's stopped by, quite a few Thunderbolts.
He didn't find too much room there. It looks like right now the Thunderbolts are hitting harder and faster, like they got extra life on that one pass.
And so 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line for the Puget Sound Jets. They lead by 3, but they've just given up 8 points, 8 very important points. And now their offense must respond. Again, they go back to the run and shoot look. Westendorf this time out of the shotgun.
We got Glenn Vereen doing one play down here.
Yeah, Glenn Vereen at defensive back, but they throw over the middle and they throw complete to Chris Bailey, who gets all the way out to about the 40. Call it the 40, a 15-yard gain and a first down for the Jets. And it looks like it's starting to have the effect. The no-huddle run-and-shoot offense might be starting to tire out the Thunderbolts defense. Again, Westendorf back to pass, has a little time, now throws right over the middle, and again complete. And we'll get the number. Plus, we have a penalty flag down, and that might be a face mask. The completion is to number 87, Alfonso Harris. He gets down to the Bolt 43, but there may be an extra 15 yards added on to that.
And this is when you don't want to get those silly mistake penalties.
And that is the call from Bob Murph, the referee. He says face mask. However, he didn't give the personal foul signal before it, so we don't know whether this is 5 or 15. We'll have to see. Well, he's walked past 5 yards, so that's a big penalty right there.
I don't think it was a face mask. Did they show it?
He signaled face mask, but he didn't give the personal foul signal before it like you're supposed to if it's a 15-yarder. But that's irrelevant. It's 15 yards closer to the Thunderbolts end zone. So now it's 1st and goal as time runs out. Not 1st and goal, 1st and 10. But time runs out here in the 3rd quarter. And we're going to come back to an exciting 4th quarter with the score.
I'm trying to find out what the ref's doing. What's he doing? He's either playing cowboy whoopee or we got one more play going. What's going on?
Well, actually, I believe that has to do with the high school rule that says if the clock runs out after a penalty on the last play of the quarter, you must play one untimed down. And that even happens if the penalty stops the clock with a couple of seconds to go and then you wind the clock, you still get another play. So we're not done with the 3rd quarter yet, folks. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Thunderbolts 28 and one penalty-free play. We are one penalty-free play away from the end of the 3rd quarter. And again, back to the run and shoot set. There goes Fauntleroy in motion, so that's an empty backfield. And Westendorf on the quarterback draw gets to the 25 and kneels down with a little help from Steve Rosario at about the 24. Well, there is a flag down, and it looks like it's going to be extended by another play, Greg.
Well, I'll tell you what, they should have went after Westendorf because you can't call it a hook slide once the defender got his hand on your foot. You can't hook slide. I'm sorry. Your game now.
And let's see what the penalty is. Bob Murph has yet to make a determination as to what this penalty is.
I say the way they're walking back, there's a holding or a personal foul.
Yeah, it does appear in the area generally associated with holding on the offense. Another play, this time from the Thunderbolts 40, as it is first. It's 1st and about 22, maybe 23.
We'll get 15 minutes more of football if we keep getting these offensive penalties.
Westendorf back to pass, looks long, now rolls right, has a little bit of room, throws short, and it's incomplete, intended for Thomas Baker, and he takes a big hit from Alonzo Harden. That's the penalty you usually pay for dropping the ball.
And that will end the 3rd quarter.
And finally, we do have the end of the 3rd quarter, and what an exciting quarter it was. After 3, it's the Puget Sound Jets 20, the Oregon Thunderbolts 17.
What have these guys ever been?
Back to Auburn Memorial Stadium, start of the 4th quarter. The Puget Sound Jets have the ball and the lead 20-17 over the Oregon Thunderbolts. 1st down and 10 from the Oregon Thunderbolt 40. Again, the run and shoot set. Westendorf back to pass, looking for Fauntleroy. Now throws it over the middle and underthrows his intended receiver, Thomas Baker. And Baker takes another courtesy hit from a Thunderbolts defender. But the incomplete pass now makes it 3rd and a lot. 3rd and about 22. As again, another Jets drive is derailed by penalties. A holding penalty put them back where they are now, and now they've got 3rd and long. And again, the Thunderbolts with a chance to have a stop and give the ball back to their offense. Fauntleroy goes out for the Jets. As the clock stopped now, they will not go to the hurry-up offense. But again, the 4 wide receiver offense on 3rd and 22. The snap to Westendorf. Looking over the middle, now throws a flat pass out to number 12, Derek Pleasant, and he is taken down by Glenn Vereen inside the Thunderbolts 40. That might be a 1-yard gain, and we have a Thunderbolt down on the field. It's going to bring up 4th and about 21, but we'll see who the shaken up Thunderbolt is. It appears to be number 71. And number 71. And it's number 71, Brian Labonte, that's shaken up on that play, and he's getting helped off the field with a little bit of assistance, so that can't be too bad, Greg. But
no, anytime you have assistance, it's not that good.
But at least they're not carrying him off the field where he's not walking at all.
Well, if it's an ACL, ACLs are a funny thing. I should know. My son's had 3 of them.
And there's Prince back to punt. High booming kick, but I think that one's going to go through the end zone.
Oh, no.
Actually, it takes a bounce, and it's down
right on the
inside the 1-yard line. Wow.
Oh, well, they're going to have to earn this one.
The Thunderbolts will have to go officially 99 yards to score on this possession.
I'm going to predict first play, quarterback sneak.
And we'll see if you're right, Greg, but 99 yards is how far they are away from the end zone.
When you're on the 1-yard line, you can't do anything fancy. You got to see.
Little meeting on the near sideline. They're all huddled up, probably talking about something, but maybe they're not very happy with how the offense has played the last couple of possessions.
Oh, who wants pizza?
There goes Clemens in motion in the shadow of their own goalpost, and well, you're right about Thomas getting the ball. He gets out to about the 5-yard line.
Hey,
so good call there, Greg.
I think everybody in the anybody that knows about football knows exactly who is going to have that ball, and really all you can do is cut. You have to cut out the center and create the pile so it can't go through. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. Well, thank you very much.
So 2nd and about 6, as they spotted just inside the 5, but we'll call it 2nd and 6 to go. And that looks like Clemens, who gets the give, and, well, he gets nothing as they try to go up the middle.
Unless it's a delay, it just doesn't go.
And that seems to be the pattern this evening. It usually has to be a delay, and it has to run either to the middle or the right side of the Thunderbolt offensive line in order to get some yardage. That one was up the middle, but they were all over Clemens that time.
Wow, I really am surprised that they haven't tried to do a little bit more flat work tonight and with a swing out and give Clemens some room to run.
And now it's Evans, the single back in the backfield.
He's the protector.
And there's the play action. He's going long right side for Andre Harrison. A nice breakup.
Well,
a very nice breakup.
Didn't get a tip, that was a touchdown.
That's a nice breakup by number 22, Damon Dickey of the Jets, because you're right. If he doesn't get a hand on that, that is an easy 6 points for the Thunderbolts. But as it is, it's an incomplete pass, and the Jets, in the shadow of their own goalposts, are forced to punt. Now, if we're going to have a 55 to 65-yard punt, this is the time to have one.
Well, this is. I don't know. Jeff has never been put in this situation. He's got Jonathan Miller was the snapper last year, and he felt very comfortable. He had no problem worrying about wherever he was standing, that the snap would always be there quickly. And this is a situation where he hasn't been put with this new snapper.
And you might have seen that Jeff Wood looked behind him to see where the white line was to make sure that he doesn't step on it, which would result in a safety. And there's a little bit of a rush, but he gets off.
And there's a flag. It's going to be roughing the kicker.
And it's taken by number 24, Montreux Macon, at about the 46-yard line. Gets down, and then there's the fumble. And the fumble is recovered by the Thunderbolts at their own 46-yard line. Now, there is a flag down, and you might be right. It might be roughing or running into the kicker.
Illegal procedure.
It is illegal procedure against the Thunderbolts. And that one really hurts, Greg, because the fumble at the other end, they recover, they have the ball, but the penalty brings it all back.
I want to know what the procedure call is. You know, they say illegal procedure. What does that mean? Illegal formation? What?
Well, that could mean quite a few things, but the fact that they let the play go indicates to me that either somebody wasn't lined up properly, they didn't have enough people on the line, which you have to have at least
that's
7.
A formation.
And that's a formation problem. And you may have noticed that near the start of that play, the Thunderbolts rushed a couple of guys onto the field, and it could be that they just didn't get to where they needed to be, and thus they didn't have enough people on the line, and then so that comes back. That was actually a very good punt by Jeff Wood, about 45 yards or so. They get the fumble, they get the recovery, but it all comes back.
Well, they actually hit Jeff Wood, and the flag came out at just about that time. It was way late. I mean, if it was illegal formation, that should have came out immediately, which it didn't. It didn't come out until Jeff Wood kicked the ball.
All right, so they're going to
stuck the flag down too deep in his pocket.
So 4th and about 8, about the 3-yard line, and again, backed up against their own end line, they have to kick.
Oh.
And he almost steps out, but he gets that one off. That one's a low line drive, and it takes a bit of a bounce. Now it's fielded by Macon at the 42, gets inside the 35 to about the 34 of the Thunderbolts, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Jets with excellent field position.
Well, that's a tough break for the Thunderbolts, because not only did they get an outstanding punt,
they're for the comeback efforts of the Oregon Thunderbolts. And for the first time this half, they do not come out in the run and shoot set. 2 backs, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. And there is the fake. Intercepted! Van Vardy! 35, 40, 45! And he's met at about the 48-yard line.
Oh, man. And that looks like a dislocated arm. There was a clip.
Sheridan May made the tackle, a big hit on Van Velarde, but Van Velarde comes up with the interception, and there aren't any flags.
Irwin's hurt. I mean,
and after the interception by Van Velarde, the Thunderbolts have a gift, and let's see if they look a gift horse in the mouth, or if they use it at their own 47-yard line.
Key turnover in the first play. We say that they get the turnover.
Maybe we got to talk about that more often. Jeff Thomas back to pass, throws it while he's going down, and broken up by number 15, Stacey Edwards. But that was a great play by Jeff Thomas to get rid of the football in a spot where only his receiver would catch it. No interception. It's just an incompletion rather than a sack and a big loss.
That's actually a risky pass, because he almost punted it, pass throw. But, the remarkable play, that was almost completed.
But at least it's not an interception.
No, it wasn't an interception. Once you put a ball up there and it's floating like that, anybody can recover from that. Unfortunately, the defenders were still traveling downfield, and Calvin Griggs was the only one that saw that. And the defender came back at the last moment and just was able to get his hand on it.
So 2nd and 10 from the 47 for the Thunderbolts. Again with a chance to either tie or retake the